What's up, you guys? What's up, you guys? It's Greg here, and welcome back to another investing video where we're going to cover the topic of, is a stock market crash coming? I know a lot of you have just not been able to get this question out of your heads, sort of like I can't get this cowlick out of my head. Anyways, it's a great question, and I'd like to first cover two concepts that will let you know what to worry about and when, and then also we're going to cover 5 reasons why a stock market crash could be coming and how to prepare. Great. So the first concept is really brief, and it's that as the market gets higher, or whatever you want to call it, longer in the tooth, as the bull rally continues, as things get frothy, astronomically high, whatever you want to call it, as this happens, a crash is more likely to happen. It's not like some people think that as the market goes up and up, it's just more likely to be invincible and you can put money in because it's just going to keep going up. That's not the case. Historically, the higher a market gets, or the higher an individual stock gets, the more likely it is to come down. And if it doesn't have small corrections or dips along the way, then it's setting itself up for a bigger ultimate drop or crash. That's why a lot of people say that there was a healthy correction in a stock or in the market. They're happy it went down a little because they got to buy in more and they know that the rally will continue. All right. So don't trick yourself into thinking that the longer a stock market rally goes, the longer it can go just because it's like getting stronger or something. That's not the case. The second concept we should understand is the difference between trading and investing. Now, if you're a trader of a stock, you're likely going to buy it low and then ride it and sell it high. And then you can do this multiple times, making profits, but not really having a plan to own the stock forever, more just a plan to make some profits, hopefully. If you're an investor, then you actually don't have a plan to sell. On the other hand, if you're an investor in a stock or an ETF or a mutual fund, whatever, then you're likely going to be holding it for the long term. This means that you don't have a set time to sell usually, but you're just going to keep riding it because you think it'll go up. When it goes down a little, you can buy in more, and generally investors that are long-term investors don't need to care quite as much about a stock market crash because you'll ride it out, and because as long as it's a good stock or a good company, things generally do recover. Take the ARK fund managed by Cathie Wood, for example. Take the ARK ETFs managed by Rockstar Cathie Wood, for example. The ARK fund, of course, suffered in March during the pandemic when everything dropped, but it only took about 2 months to recover. Meaning if you had just held this ARK fund through all the bad stuff in February and March and the panic and the market crashing, you would have done fine and recovered your money in a short amount of time, and in fact you would have and then you could have ridden it all the way up to where it's at now, well above $100, and you wouldn't have to pay any taxes if you didn't sell. So if you're an investor in funds or stocks that are similar to ARK, you generally have to worry a little bit less about a crash because you know you'll be okay in the long run. If, however, you are trading a stock, then you're going to want to get out towards the top, meaning sell it. Because who wants to have a stock that goes all the way up when you're going to trade it and then forget to sell, and then it goes down and you give up all your profits? Looking at a stock like Moderna is a great example of a stock that you can trade. For example, this stock went all the way up to $178.50 before its vaccine was released into the world. And now that we're becoming ready to get this shot, and now that their vaccine is finally getting shot into people's arms, the stock has crashed up to 40%. Who wants to be around for that? Not me. So that would be an example of a stock you can trade. You can ride it up and then get rid of it. Generally, in those word to the wise, by the way, in those Now, someone recently asked me, why is Moderna stock going down, given that it's released and it's being used and people are paying money for it? Not the people that get the shots, but companies and government. That's because in the stock market, a lot of the times people buy the hype towards an event and then sell the news once it happens, and then adios. It's not the case where you can just buy Moderna or another stock right when the news is announced and then expect to make money. It's just not that easy. It would be too easy in the stock market to do that, and you have to be one step ahead of that sort of thinking. Okay, guys, now that we've addressed those two concepts, let's look at my 5 top reasons why I think a stock market crash is coming sometime. Doesn't mean it's in the next week or a couple days, but it is coming, I do think. And I'll try to order these reasons in terms of the most likely, and then lastly, the least likely. So, I'm going to violate the cardinal rule of YouTube and tell you the importance of upfront, but that's because it's important stuff. Okay, so the first reason I think a stock market crash is coming is because of the Senate runoff in January. If Georgia decides to go Republican, if Georgia decides to elect the 2 Republican senators to the Senate, as people expect them to do, then we will have a divided government where the House of Representatives is Democrat and the Senate is Republican. The president, of course, is Democrat. And generally things won't change as much, and investors can kind of run and play freely. It's kind of like when one parent is traveling and the other parent is at home. You don't have 2 parents to watch you, and it's harder to get rules passed in the house. So go ahead and have a sleepover and go crazy and order pizza. That's what it's that's what it's like, and that's what investors want to happen. Now, if Georgia does elect the 2 Democrat senators, on the other hand, then it'll be a clean sweep of Democrats running the show, meaning a lot more new Democratic policies coming through, which I really don't have an opinion on. They might be good, they might be bad, they might help a lot of people that are in need, which would be awesome, but change in that case might upset investors and might make them say, oh my gosh, we're all worried that the Democrats are gonna ruin things, and then what's gonna happen is they're gonna leave certain stocks, go to other stocks, but it's gonna be really hard to tell which stocks people are gonna wanna buy then and which industries will do well. And probably the initial effect will be the whole market going down. So even if you have an awesome stock like Apple, that'll go down too, because everyone's selling mutual funds and stuff that contain Apple. So if you now credible sources do believe the chances of the Democrats winning the Senate in Georgia to be somewhere around only 20 to 30%. So this crash scenario is only about 20 to 30% likely, but if you think it's going to happen, or maybe you're just rooting for certain people over others, then you're going to want to have some cash on the sidelines in case it does, so you can buy stocks when they go down, or you're going to want to start thinking about selling your big stock winners right now. Awesome, guys. So the second great. So the second reason I think a stock market crash could be coming is because the Fed could change its course on policies. They have said they're going to keep interest rates very low and keep supporting the economy, but that is definitely a scenario that I think could change. They're allowed to change their minds, and people are banking on money being printed and interest rates being so low. They're putting so much trust in this that if it changes even a little bit, you're going to have a problemo. Again, a little bit less likely, but something you should definitely follow in the news if you have a lot of money in the stock market. The third reason I think a stock market crash could be coming is because of international tensions. If you remember, about a year ago, there were some incidents with Iran and Iraq, and our president decided to make some very serious, very sudden moves. Now, some people around the world think that the new president will be softer on international situations, which could lead to some sorts of fighting or retaliations. No, any one life lost is too much, but in the case of international stuff, you might have to think about some conflicts and whether our international relations will change and whether our country will actually suffer as a result. And whether the U.S. stock market might suffer as a result. Now, the fourth reason I think a stock market crash could be happening in the next few months is because of something called a black swan event. A black swan event is what happened with the coronavirus pandemic. Most investors thought they'd be clear to just run for the hills, to just make money and profit until the summer of 2020, but obviously that was cut short by the black swan event of the pandemic. Predicting a black swan event is possible, though, because it's usually, from what I've seen, something that we're aware of, but that we don't take seriously enough. Now, it could also be something that we've never even heard of happening, like an asteroid or another big or those killer bees come back in large numbers, or the world runs out of coffee or something. I would be devastated. But usually the smartest minds of the world can predict these black swan events, and that's why you will see people moving money around before bad things happen, and then you'll hear about it later and wonder, why didn't they tell me? Well, because we probably don't know those people. Well, because we probably don't know those people on a personal, I'm going to text you basis. It's important to consider the possibility of a black swan event, though, because the effects can be so damaging to your wealth, your investments, your retirement, and your well-being. So if you do feel like Googling potential black swan events to happen in the near future, that'll give you a heads up on at least what other people are thinking. Because a lot of times at home in a vacuum here, we're not able to just get in on these discussions that are so important. So go ahead and do a quick Google search on that if you feel like it. Alright guys, and my fifth and final reason, I think that a stock market crash could occur in the near term is because of what's going on with the US dollar. Printing money, all these stimuluses, all the Fed's actions have been great in keeping our economy up and running, but the value of the US dollar has really plummeted. When the dollar goes up or spikes, it's bad for equities, aka stocks, and vice versa. When the dollar goes down, it's good for stocks. The dollar is so low right now that tracking the index of the dollar is going to be smart in the near future. I'll put some information on that in the notes below. But basically, if people are all of a sudden incentivized to get a bunch of cash and pull their money out of the market, or they get really worried because just things are changing. You could get something like a run on the markets. You could get like a liquidity crisis. You could get something else related to the US dollar, which would cause stocks to really plummet. It's a little bit complicated why the dollar can't go up and stocks go up and up at the same time. Obviously, in the past, I think that has happened, but nowadays they're inversely related. So you should understand both of those things, dollars and equities. Alright guys, that's it for my 5 reasons why a stock market crash might be coming in the future. If I missed any reasons why this, if I missed any some obvious reason why a stock market crash could be coming, let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, smash that like button. If we get up to 25 likes in this video, which I know is a small number, but hey, we're just talking investing to start out with here. It's a new thing for us. If we can get that number to 25, I will jump in the snow in a t-shirt. And we have a lot of snow. So, that could be funny. So, I know everyone out there is going to want to see that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my 5 reasons why a stock market crash. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my top 5 reasons to explain the question, is a stock market crash coming in the future? As usual, you can do things that protect you against risk and hedge you against future risks, like signing up to Webull, depositing $100 and getting your 4 free stocks. You're going to get 2 free stocks they're going to be giving you 2 free stocks just for creating an account, which is free to do, and another 2 after you deposit $100. Those second 2 stocks will be worth up to $1,600. So it could be some free money coming your way if you get a Google stock, for example. I know people have. And yeah, it's kind of fun just to try out too, because there's no risk whatsoever if you have $100 to spare, and you can always take the $100 out if you don't like Webull. If you don't like trading stocks on Webull, if it turns out you don't like it. Of course, you can also make a blog and put some ads on it or share your content. Doing little things like that will make a big difference in the long run if you take them seriously. Check out our videos on how to make a blog below, of course. I know that's where most of you guys have found me from. So I can't say thanks enough for taking my advice. I'm just some guy in a kitchen in the middle of the world randomly and talking about blogging, and it's really awesome that people actually decide to listen. We've come such a long way, much further than I ever dreamt of when I was making $100 a month from blogging, trying to use that money to pay to live in New York City. So I'm so thankful and eternally grateful to you. So I can think of a million more stock marketing analogies. Basically, just keep some cash on. But basically my favorite rule of thumb right now is, as Cathie Wood says, meaning keep some cash on hand so you can buy when things drop, or just have the flexibility of having cash. There's nothing wrong with storing some cash under the mattress. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go hit the gym now because, that's what I do, make a video, hit the gym. Every day is pretty much the same these days. I'll see you next time. Hope to talk to you in the comments, and yeah, good luck investing. Peace.